G'day, and welcome to Forkman and Friends, the podcast where I talk to awesome people doing amazing things for other people. This week, I'm joined by an awesome friend of mine, Annabelle. Welcome, Annabelle.
Hi, Corey. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, pretty, different in this kind of time. So, I'm not too bad for everything that's going on.
In this new normal?
Yes, exactly. New normal. I'm working and have uni, so at least I'm not, bored. I've still got a lot going on and, it's keeping me busy, which is lucky because I think I might go a little bit crazy otherwise.
Yeah, I hear you there. I've been going crazy trying to find things to do. When I'm not recording podcasts.
Well, luckily you've got the podcast. It's a good way to keep lots of people entertained.
And now we can't go to the shops, so I can't split it up because I would go to the shops.
I know, only one person to the shops. I know, and you can't go out past 8 o'clock. What's the time now?
It's 7:48.
Rush out.
Yeah, actually, the time of recording 7:48. So whenever you're listening.
Yeah, don't go out if it's after 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've known Annabelle for, I don't know, what year did I meet you?
We met, Corey and I met on my first camp with Edmund Rice Camps, and Corey was one of the group leaders on my first camp. He was one of the first people that I met, and that was 5 years ago.
Thank you, Annabelle. I have a time to work out, but for some reason I thought it was like 8 years ago, but then I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'm not that old.
Yeah, I was like, you probably would have been the youngest leader on camps.
Yes, ever.
Ever. But you never know. You could look older than what you were.
That's true. I could have lied about my age.
Yeah. But Annabelle did not lie about her age, if anyone is listening.
If anyone from camp is listening, I did not lie.
So, but firstly, what got you involved with camps?
So I started doing Edmund Rice Camps when I was 17 in year 12. So we had some other girls from my school who'd been doing Edmund Rice Camps come and give like a speech at an assembly or like a retreat kind of thing. And I remember them just like talking about just being able to spend a week or a couple of days with kids and just, I was just like, oh, this sounds kind of interesting. And then I looked into it. I went to the training day, which was in Geelong.
Wow,
very long way away from me. And then I did my first camp in 2015. And then ever since I've absolutely loved camps and it's been such a big part of my life. It's such a great organization. It's so good to meet so many amazing people, and you have so many friends. Most of my friends now are from camp, so it's such a great experience to be involved in, especially when you are a bit younger. It's great to meet lots of interesting people and obviously do some really amazing things with the kids and families on camp.
What would you say would be the most rewarding thing you have gotten out from camps?
It's a really good question. I think camps give you a lot of really, really good skills, like about how to deal with really difficult behaviours of kids, or how to deal with, big changes in a camp program if you're captaining, or, being able to be really flexible when it comes to everything that happens on camp, because it never really runs to plan. And I think like the most rewarding thing is just learning how to do those things in like a fun and a safe environment that you would never get in a normal like workplace or uni. You have so many amazing people around you that support you. And I think also probably another big thing is the friends that you gain out of camps. These people are so like very like-minded, and they're really kind, and they've always been there over the last 5 years. But also, I think I've given you, this is my third interesting. You asked for only one, but I've given you
Okay.
3.
Okay.
So my third one is definitely just being with the kids. It's so, you never, when you have a full-time job or you're at uni or working or anything like that, it's so hard to just have time to have fun and like be a kid. And on camp, you get to do that for a whole week, and it's something you never get to do in the real world. And it feels like you're in a bubble from the rest of the world. So I think they're, what, the biggest takeaways from camp and the rewarding experiences I've had on camp.
Now everyone has a different story in camps or within camps, like the story that sticks out for them. Without naming names or whatever, do you have a story that whenever you feeling down or whatever, you go back to that moment and remember it?
Very good question. I think I have a lot of stories, but the one that came to my mind first, this year, I was on camp and it was my birthday on camp. And I remember waking up on camp and like everyone had decorated with lots of signs, and every single person, every participant, every parent, every kid, every leader came up to me and gave, me a high five or a hug and wished me happy birthday. And I think, that was so, so special. I've never had a birthday like it, and I'll never have a birthday like it again. I think that's just something that stood out. Everyone was extra nice to me, and, everyone was like saying things like, oh no, you need to listen to Annabelle, it's her birthday, and it was just such a nice way to spend my birthday, and something that, I'll probably never get again. So that was probably a standout memory for me on camp.
Yeah, I was going to say birthdays on camps are always kind of fun. But especially when you try to hide the fact that it's your birthday or whatever.
Yeah, I did not hide it. I love my birthday, so I did not hide it. But some people are very good at hiding their birthday on camp, and maybe the day after you find out it's their birthday. Very sneaky.
I had a birthday, I think it was on pre-camp day or the day before pre-camp day. And Tracy was on that camp, who a lot of us call Camp Mum. Our Camp Mum.
Definitely.
And she knew my birthday, and I thought I had gotten away with it because no one had mentioned anything, except for a couple people. Were like, oh, happy birthday for yesterday. Look at that Facebook friends with them. And then Tracy was like, when I saw Tracy going into the kitchen, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? I think, okay, so we're just going to talk to someone in the kitchen. And then she came up with a cake and some candles. I'm like, Tracy, you didn't have to do that.
Oh, that is so special.
I don't know.
So nice.
I'm like, I think I was like turning 25 or turned 25 or something. So after 21, I kind of stopped celebrating.
Oh, well.
After a camp where like the camp catch up, we ended up doing a couple of days after camp.
Yeah.
And it was to celebrate my birthday, and we ended up at Macca's in Nidgery.
Woo!
Like at 3:00 in the morning.
Wow, gosh, happy birthday, Corey. What a way to spend your birthday.
Yeah. And with the third ever time I went into a pub.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, I was like 21, had never been to the pub, and then some Eddie Wright friends took me to a pub to celebrate. But anyway, enough about me, more about you.
Okay.
So, as we know, so camps, they have a lot of subcommittees and ways you can stay involved when camps ain't happening. And one of them was the food fan back in the day. And you were involved in that for a number of years.
Yeah, so when I started camp, you go on camp for like a week or a couple of days, and you meet all these amazing people, and you spend so much time with them, and you bond with everyone, and you get this really special feeling. And then the next day you wake up, at home, and it's all over, and you have to wait another, I don't know, like 4 months. Or this time, i.e. now, our last camps are in summer, and it's been like, what, 8 months?
8 months.
So, you know, it's really hard to, you know, keep that feeling of kind of magic and camp spirit in you. And a way that I found to be able to keep it during like normal day-to-day life was called the Edmund Rice Food Van when I started. And it was on a Wednesday night, and it was run through Edmund Rice and Father Bob on a Wednesday night, and Corey was a coordinator there as well. So Corey and I used to go down together, and there was a big group of other Eddie Ricers that used to come down on a Wednesday night, and it was just such a you know, great group of people, and it kind of felt like you were back on camp and you were back with those people, and you know, seeing you know, the people that you really love spending time with. But also, you know, it was great to see your friends. But what we did was, it was a food van where we'd come at about like 4 or 5 o'clock on a Wednesday, and we'd prepare all of this food. So like that roasts would be cooked, pasta, barbecues, desserts, and then at about like 6 o'clock, we would head down to a place in South Melbourne where we would set up all of these tables and chairs, and everyone would sit down with the community. Anyone that needed a meal that night would come down, sit down, and you would just chat to the community the whole night. So, you know, you'd just find a seat and talk to someone about their day, what they've been up to. We used to have lots of kids that came down, and there was a playground. We'd play with the kids. So that was how I got involved into like the first part of like my food van journey, you could say.
So that quickly.
Yeah.
I was trying to work out, were you involved in the one at Brunswick too? Or?
No, I wasn't. Because I was too young. I was 17. I remember everyone going, and I was so disappointed. And then as soon as I turned 18, you changed to the one in South Melbourne. So no, I never went to the Brunswick one.
No, I was trying to work out, but I'm sure I never went to the Brunswick one.
No, I never did. I wish I did, but no, I never did. So yeah, that's like how I got involved in that food van to start with. Yeah.
And then you moved over to the
dark side.
The dark side. No, not the dark side. No. I'm kidding. Today too have done that food van. That is an awesome food van. I've done that one a number of times.
I moved over to the Gatwick Hotel food van, which was still at that time run by Edmund Rice. So the Gatwick Hotel, for people that don't know, was a boarding house that was like emergency accommodation for those that had nowhere else to go. So it housed around 80 to 100 people. And it did have a little bit of a bad name about itself, and there were some pretty horrible things that happened there. But also it was a place where people felt safe. They had a roof over their head. They knew where they were sleeping. It provided a lot of safety and a home to so many people. So when we started at the Gatwick Hotel, and the Gatwick Hotel was a very different atmosphere to the South Melbourne food van. So the South Melbourne food van was, like, I'm sure you would agree with me, Corey, quite relaxed and kind of chilled out. And then the Gatwick Hotel, the kind of community down there is a little bit more, it's just a different kind of community. We didn't set up chairs. We just kind of served out of the back of the van, and we just hung around and chat for like an hour and a half. So yeah, it's quite a different environment, but it is, yeah, just a place where people could come down, have a chat, have a hot dog, have a sandwich. You know, we didn't, we kind of just had hot dogs and sandwiches, tea and coffee, and kind of stuff like that. And then the Gatwick Hotel was actually sold to The Block, which I'm sure a lot of people know. I'm not sure. Did you watch it, Corey? Did you watch The Block?
Unfortunately, I did.
Did you? Oh, Corey.
Because my my brother watched it there, so I was kind of right into watching it too. It was on my
Fair
TV.
Enough. Oh yeah, fair enough. Well, so The Block bought the Gatwick Hotel, and it's like a heritage listed building, so the outside of it still looks the same, but all of those people unfortunately, that were living there, you know, a lot of them ended up back on the street. So it was a really, really difficult time for us at Food Van because there were so many people who were very tense and worried, and we lost a lot of, you know, people that we knew. We didn't know where, you know, we don't know where they've gone now. We've lost some of our friends. So that was really tough. But then, you know, we're still going on now. We've changed from Edmund Rice to Emerald Hill Mission. And then, yeah, so I have been coordinating it for a while now. And yeah, so we're now down still in St Kilda, and you know, we still have lots of familiar faces, and we're just kind of there about, you know, we're not there just to hand out food and leave. We're there to provide the community with a bit of socializing, you know, someone to chat to, and it's also just great for the volunteers too. It's such a nice way just to chat to some new people. At the end of the week, we run on a Friday night, so it's really nice to end your Friday, you know, after a busy week with just some chatting, a hot dog, you know. It's just a really nice environment. And Corey comes down quite often as well, and I'm sure Corey can say that it is a really nice place to spend your Friday night.
Yes, it is. Now, with 2020, of course, it would be like not how we expected, and a lot of changes in with how people run food vans now.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I know, like the Emerald Hill one is one of the only ones still operating. There are a couple others that I know, but not many are continuing.
Yeah, so as soon as Corona started, so we have a pretty solid group of volunteers, and as soon as Corona kind of hit, we were really aware that the community that we have down are quite a vulnerable community, and we were very aware of that and are very aware of that still till today. But we made kind of a pact within our volunteers that we weren't going to stop until we really, really had to. So we've made lots and lots of changes, and lots of changes have been really difficult and really sad because it's meant that we can't stay for an hour and a half like we used to. You know, we can only stay for 10 minutes. We can't, you know, we can't make sandwiches. We used to make sandwiches in front of them and they would choose what they want. And now they're all pre-made. We can only have 3 volunteers, whereas we used to have kind of as many as we wanted. And we've had to kind of just put a hold on new volunteers as well, because, you know, there's just lots of kind of complications. And it is really, really tough because, you know, we see all the familiar faces and all we want to do is like have a chat, and we can't. So, but like in a positive note, we are still going there every Friday night, and we've had a lot of people come down, and I think I've never seen them as a community be so grateful than what they've been now. So it's really nice. And also it's nice for the volunteers, very lucky volunteers that get to go to Food Van at the moment, because, you know, not many people get to leave their house. So we're really grateful as well to be able to provide a service to those who at this time really, really need it. It's, you know, we're all struggling, everyone's struggling with being isolated, not having people to talk to. And a lot of our community didn't really have that much support beforehand, and a lot of that's now gone again. So yeah, it's been tough, but we're feeling really positive that we've been able to continue, especially during stage 4.
What would your hopes be for next year, for 2021? I know I'm putting you on the spot there, but for 2021, yeah,
for Food Van.
For Food Van.
I would just hope that we can no longer have only 3 volunteers. You know, I hope we can have any volunteer that wants to come down on a Friday night, just turn up. We're all helping prepare, and then we all go down and we can stay for, you know, an hour and a half and just chat for hours. I hope the school groups can come back, because I really miss having the school groups down there. They're really great to engage with the community. They're new faces. And I also just, I hope that it's, you know, St Kilda is such a busy place on a Friday night normally, and it's very strange going to St Kilda now. It's just dead. There's no one on the streets other than a couple of people coming to Food Van. But I just hope it can kind of get back to that community spirit that we really had before, and that kind of socializing aspect that so many of us really miss.
And lastly, what advice would you give to listeners or people out there wanting to get like involved with food fans or with say like organizations like Edmund Rice Camps?
Yeah, sure. So probably what I would say to like all kind of young people, or actually anyone, is to get involved in Edmund Rice Camps. Do one camp, and then, you know, if you don't like it, you don't have to come back, but that very rarely happens. I would say, yeah, get involved in camps, but if you can't commit to that, and I think, you know, a lot of people can't commit to a whole week or, you know, that kind of stuff, and that's really fair enough. Look up Emerald Hill Mission Food Van on Facebook, Emerald Hill Food Van, and send us a message, because once everything reopens and we can start welcoming new volunteers, we would absolutely love to have lots of new volunteers down. It's only a couple of hours, you know, maybe 3 hours on a Friday night. You don't have to come every week. We don't normally have any kind of roster or you don't have to sign anything. You can just kind of come when you want. And it's such a great way to, you know, get involved in something, some kind of volunteering quite easily, and kind of meet lots of other people who are doing really interesting things, and you never know where that could take you.
Well, thank you, Annabelle, for joining us today on the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me, Corey. It's a real privilege.
To our listeners, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button below. Like our Facebook page, just look for Forkman and Friends, the podcast, I believe it's called. I could be wrong. And also subscribe to our iTunes channel, Forkman and Friends, the podcast, and also on Spotify too.
Wow, you've got it everywhere, Corey. Good job.
Yep, yeah. Until next time, I've been Forkman. She's been
Annabelle.
Cool. And stay safe.